Paideia comes from Greek. It's Plato's ideal of the educated member of inhabitant of the Republic. And Paideia so it is this notion of being educated, but which does not mean containing a lot of information in your head, but conversing with the world and always growing in learning and experiencing.
Paideia brings us in touch with American Jews, with Israelis, with other Europeans. So it creates Jewish confidence. It creates Jewish confidence. So because it creates confidence, it can create Jewish leaders.
It's not what one expects necessarily from a Jewish Studies Institute, a place that deals with Talmud, a place that deals with the Jewish canon and the Jewish text, to put this in the context of secularism and religiosity, Europeanness and Israeli identity, North America. I think it's just an interesting place where many special things overlap, making it very unique.
With the French, I would dream of being this third voice of the Jewish people between Israel and American Jews, and saying, listen, we have to be, whatever are the controversies, whatever the conversation, we have to be in the same, we have to be one people, and there should be absolutely no discussion about that.
Sometimes I think that American Jewish community wants to see Europe as sort of bunch of antisemites and let's send these Jews outside of Europe, they should leave and go to Israel, which is not true. There is a very positive message of Europe coming through the stories of European Jews. And of course this political knowledge of what is happening of Europe, what is the European Union, what is this Europe about, that's definitely something we can spread out of our context and yeah, I think it's right now very important, and I think it's right now almost the most important thing.
When we talk about global Jewry, then there is Israel, there is the United States, and then European Jewry. And I do think that it's an important alternative to, I think Jewish life in the US, it seems an amazing Jewish life. In Israel, obviously it's Israel, so it's it's also plenty of opportunities. And I think it would be interesting to balance both of this American Jewish life and Israel Jewish life with a European way, which is more about, I would say, history. So the history of European Jewry, and each of them with their own specific history and with their own past, and also each of them with their own languages and with their own traditions and with their own identity. It's important to keep this European Jewish way of things.
The first visiting scholars that we would have had that we had in my fellowship year, they were amazing. They really blew my mind, And I grew up always going to, I grew up in Bible study and reading Talmud and as a part of my dual curriculum education in Jewish day school. But this was something on a completely different level that it was shocking.
Oh, I think that it totally shaped my life, and my perception of what I'm going to do in my life. Before I finished Paideia, I was asked by an alum of Paideia to start working for the Federation of Czech Jewish Communities as a program manager for kids and youth, which was something that I really wanted to do. Paideia has had a huge impact on me choosing this path.
They combine academic training with more of a activism hub kind of thing. I think that's very necessary. It made me more aware of the need to get involved myself. I think I probably wouldn't have told you most of the things I told you about how activism was needed if I hadn't been to Paideia.
It opened me windows to the Jewish text, which and the approach to the Jewish text, which I didn't know before. During the studies, I went back to my community during the spring vacation. It was a Pesach, and I remember I was conducting the Seder there, first time in my life, in like for 50 people. I was so nervous; it was horrible. But yeah, that was probably, if I wouldn't go to Paideia, I wouldn't conducting the Seder for the community.
I think this is what I learned from my grandmother and also from Barbara's perspective, to be a person who simply knows that everybody can learn from every person, as it says in the Talmud. So that's a very important value, and it's very helpful, because this is what the Jewish world is like. We are very different people, and we can only live with each other when we understand that we can learn and benefit from each other's differences. It creates a network of today already hundreds of people who are inspired to be active members of the community, and some of them became even Jewish professionals. And like, for example, here in the Czech Republic, many of the very influential people in the Jewish community are Paideia graduates.
Sometimes not even in a Jewish life, but somehow they have the knowledge, and they are professionals, and they are, for example, I don't know, journalists, or they are working in the cultural sphere and so on, and they can use this knowledge, and they are influencing the public or the Jewish community by this knowledge. So you have really amazing people who went through Paideia.
I mean, this Paideia people, they are more and more in the educational institutions, in the mostly universities, in the cultural world. I mean, there are more and more people who transmit the Jewish culture outside of the communities.
I'd like it to gain more recognition, and I'd like it to, for people to realize how inviting of a place it is, how an important a place it is, how a non-intimidating a place it is. Because it makes approaching Jewish text not very intimidating, which is something that it can be for many people. I'm not saying that it should be, but unfortunately people envision it as something that is very foreign to them, because it tends to belong to a world that many find difficult to belong to.
Paideia is much needed in Europe, because we don't really get any other chances to meet with our fellow Europeans who are involved in providing change in the Jewish world. So it's a unique place. Just meeting like-minded people who just agree with your values and want to change things is already it's already so huge. Yeah, no, I think it's a crucial place in Europe.